The first item on the agenda is the election of chairman. Do we have any nominations, please? Any others? No? Councillor Clark in the chairman. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Okay. So, good afternoon and welcome to today's meeting of the Licensing Subcommittee. This is a hearing into an application for a licence variation in respect of Harry's Meadow Campsite, Hale, Fordingbridge. I would now like to hand over to Democratic Services to read the housekeeping notes. Back to you, Andy.
Okay. Please note this meeting is being broadcast live on the Council's website and on YouTube. It will remain available for a minimum of 12 months. Please use your microphone when speaking and remember to switch it off. Please switch any mobile devices to silent. If the fire alarm rings, please leave the room immediately and use the nearest fire exit. Do not use the lift. Please go to the fire assembly point in the car park. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. My name is Councillor Steve Clark. I represent Milton Ward in the south of the district. In front of the other two members of the panel are Councillors Alan Glass and Dave Penny. Would you like to introduce yourselves?
Good afternoon. I'm Councillor Alan Glass. My ward is Hardley, Holbury and North Blackfield.
Good afternoon. My name is Councillor Dave Penny and my ward is Totton North.
Okay, thank you. In front of me is the legal advisor, Richard Davis, and on the far left is the Democratic Services Officer, Andy Rogers. First, I need to check to make sure that I, nor any of my colleagues sitting today, have any personal pecuniary interest in this matter, which would preclude us from sitting to determine the application. I have none, so that's fine. I now need to check whether all parties are present, and if not, whether they told the councillors that they're not attending. I can see the applicants to my right. I see no other people here. Andy, are we expecting any more people?
We don't know of anyone else turning up, Chairman, no.
Okay. In the absence of some of the parties to the hearing, myself and my colleagues have to decide whether to proceed today or whether we adjourn, namely the parties who have told us they're not willing to be attending the hearing, who are the objectors Hannah and Ian Downey, and objectors Mark and Helen Clark, who haven't replied, and Neil Crudden, who has not replied. Hale Parish Council have indicated they would not be attending, but would like the statement to be read out. But first of all, I see no reason for us not to proceed today. Are my colleagues in? So we will proceed with the hearing. The points made in writing, which are contained in today's agenda papers, will be given due consideration. So I do believe that it's in the public interest for us to proceed, and the subcommittee have agreed. I now wish to establish the order of events at the hearing. You will have received a copy of the Council's procedure note. In short, this allows the applicant to present their case first. In the absence of any objectors, most of what I would now normally read out become somewhat irrelevant. So what I will ask you to do shortly is just put your case of why you would like the licence granted. And I think at that point we won't need to go any further in the actual procedures. And nor will you need to sum up the case. I'm having to ad-lib a certain amount here with this one. The subcommittee will try to reach its decision today and will send formal decision notes in due course. I hope that's all clear so far. Krista, would you like to... Richard, sorry, first. Yeah.
Thank you, Chairman. Ms Vivian Sheriff has submitted an application for a new premises licence at Harry's Meadow Campsite in Hale under Section 34 of the Licensing Act 2003. In accordance with Section 35 of the Licensing Act, where relevant representations have been made to the licensing authority in response to a premises licence application, the licensing authority must hold a hearing to consider them. Having regard to those relevant representations, the licensing authority may take such steps as it considers appropriate for the promotion of the licensing objectives. The options in taking those steps are outlined for members of the subcommittee and the parties in the report at page 7 of the pack, paragraphs 25 to 27. The report outlines for the parties that some of the representations received by the licensing authority raise issues relating to planning permission for the campsite and objections to the existence of the campsite itself, but I will remind members of the subcommittee and the parties that the application to be determined today relates to the licensable activities applied for only, and the impact of those licensable activities on the 4 licensing objectives, which are set out in the report at page 5 of the pack, at paragraph 16. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. I'll go to Krista to present the case now.
Thank you, Chair. We've received an application to vary the premises licence for Harry's Meadow. The site is a camping site which has limited planning permission to operate for 60 days per year. The current licence, granted at the Licensing Subcommittee of the 5th of September 2022, permits the sale of alcohol for the month of August only, but the variation seeks to extend that permission to July and August each year, due to the extension of the planning permission. The site consists of 2 large fields, bordered by mature trees and dissected by a track. One side is used for large glamping tents and the other is for traditional camping tents, although the applicant may be able to expand on their current operation. Since the grant of the premises licence, we have not received any complaints as a result of the licensable activity. The licence permits alcoholic drinks to be sold by a third party from a converted horse box on the glamping side of the site. In the same location, there are awnings and seats available for campers to enjoy. They have prepared food and other temporary food stalls. This hospitality area is near to the central track at the centre of the site and away from the site boundary. No change to the current trading hours are requested, which is 5 p.m. till 10 p.m. each day for those camping at the site. Objectors have also referred to planning issues. However, only matters pertaining to the licensing objective under the Licensing Act 2003 may be considered. This application is brought before members to determine, as we have received 4 objections to the application, 3 from neighbours and 1 for the parish council. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Krista. Okay, I will go to the applicant, Mr. Sheriff. Would you like to explain what you would like to do?
Hi there. So we've kept it focused on the licensable activities as opposed to general planning. We had to give you some context, we had our planning extended for 2 months, and now we're just trying to extend the license to cover that period. But I'm just keeping it on the licensable objectives. So first, the prevention of crime and disorder. So the existing August licence is operated without issue, proving the site is well managed with no history of disorder. A licensed controlled bar prevents excessive personal alcohol consumption, which could otherwise lead to disorderly behaviour. Trained staff enforce ID checks, the Challenge 25, responsible service and site rules, ensuring alcohol is managed properly. The guest numbers are being reduced by 50% in line with our new planning permission, making crime or disorder even less likely than under the existing August licence. So we've got, again, give you some background. We used to have both sides of the avenue, and now we're just on the one side. As part to get the extension of 2 months, we've had to make the site smaller, which kind of works for everyone. So it's smaller site, but for longer period. Number 2, public safety. A licensed bar ensures controlled alcohol distribution, reducing the risks of excessive drinking. Security measures and staff training ensure a safe environment with clear emergency procedures already in place. The site layout has been adjusted to place guests further away from the objecting households while maintaining strict noise. So basically we're even further away from the houses that were unhappy. It's about 500 metres. Prevention of public nuisance, number 3. The same strict rules from August remain in place. No amplified music, noise monitoring and enforcement of quiet hours. No large disruptive groups are allowed. The site already meets all noise and nuisance regulations, and the planning extension has been approved after reviewing these concerns. Number 4, protection of children from harm. The bar follows the strict ID policies already mentioned, ensuring alcohol is only served to those of a legal age. A controlled bar is far safer than allowing unregulated drinking where alcohol could be accessed by minors. The campsite remains family friendly with no changes to its focus or rules. And just addressing some of the objections, So as far as we're aware, these are the same objections that were made in 2022 when the NFDC approved the August licence. The site is now smaller, as I've already said, meaning fewer people, lower impact than when the August licence was granted. Extending the licence to July does not change any operational procedures or increase risk. It simply aligns the alcohol licence with the already approved planning extension, as I've already said. The only real change is to the date, not the way the site operates. So legal precedents and regulatory consistency. Don't think we need to go into that. Then benefits to the community. So having the bar on, having the option for people to have a local ale or whatever does bring in extra customers, campers, and all of our customers, they obviously leave the site. They always go to the pub for lunch and stuff anyway, so it's not like it has an impact on that. And the local pub to us actually gave us their approval, they backed the planning, and also the first alcohol licence they backed as well. So it doesn't take away from people going, it kind of just adds to that. Rules of management remain the same. There's no additional disruption or negative impact. The guests are already legally staying on site in July, so having a licensed bar simply ensures responsible sale. And then, just to summarise, the August licence has been successfully operated without issue. Extending to July does not introduce new risks. The planning extension to July has already been approved, as I've already said. All 4 licensing objectives are fully met, and the site's impact has actually been reduced since the last approval. The same objections were already dismissed by the NFDC in 22. There's no new basis for rejecting the extension. Hopefully a straightforward licensing adjustment to align with the new planning approval, ensuring continued compliance and responsible alcohol service.
Okay, thank you. I've only got one question of you. There's, having read the papers carefully, which we've all done, there's one reference to the fact that local residents have been on site drinking. There's no evidence offered of that in the objectives, but I wonder if you'd like to respond to that.
Yeah, that's something.
So no sale of alcohol took place? No. Andy, would you like to read the Hale Parish comments?
Yes, Chairman, this is a statement circulated towards the end of last week from Hale Parish Council, which has been published on the website. Hale Parish Council is writing in response to the applicant's licence application for the operation of a bar for the selling of alcohol on the campsite. Hale Parish Council object to this application for the following reasons. 1. The application is at odds with the applicant's stated desire to increase spending in local businesses. This was used in support of their planning application to run a campsite on the site. The local public house, the Horse and Groom, were specifically used as an example in their application of increased business in gaining planning approval. The running of their own private bar is contrary with the applicant's initial intention. 2. Hale Parish Council do not believe that the applicant's stated desire to only run the bar for campers is practical and enforceable. 3. It should also be noted that the grant of conditional planning approval for a temporary campsite requires a number of specific conditions to be adhered to, namely, Condition 7, no external lighting to be installed on site. Condition 10, no music should be played in conjunction with the sale of the land, with the use of the land as a temporary campsite. Condition 13, this condition refers to the applicant's own management plan dated January 24th. Clause 110 refers to a noise curfew which is in place from 22:30 hours and is to be adhered to. Hale Parish Council are concerned that the operation of a licensed bar will infringe these planning conditions. That's it, Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you. Just go back to the applicants for a moment. I think you've addressed those issues in what you said to us, but are you happy to comply with all those conditions from Hale Parish? I mean, if we were to say to follow the same conditions as your planning application, it wouldn't really make a great deal. No. Okay. In light of the fact that we've heard, other than from Hale Parish, that we've heard nothing, and there is a presumption in law for us to grant a licence, subject to my colleague's approval, I'm going to suggest that we grant the licence. Are you happy to do that?
I can see no problems with that.
Okay, the licence will be granted, but we will give a more detailed reply in due course, which will cover those points that I just raised about complying with the planning applications. Although you're quite correct that they are not licensing that at that point. Yeah, you will have to do both, but that will be in line. But in simple terms, the licence is granted, but we'll give you a more detailed. In terms of the full formal decision notice. Okay.